NFL has evolved, then transitioned, then rocketed into a passing-heavy world. The past 10 to 15 years have seen an explosion of prolific attacks through the air, a pass-heavy ideology which has washed and seeped into every corner of every organization. The new NFL has been about passing the ball first and scoring points now. Total points, passing yards, touchdowns, all of them have been trending upwards for more than a decade until 2021. With the advent of the Brandon Staley defense, like we talked about in last week's episode, defenses have dropped a second safety deep to put a cap over these passing attacks, and it's been quite effective. Now you can't have just anybody gunning the ball down the field, so most offenses have had to find another way. There's no better example of this phenomenon than this year's Philadelphia Eagles. To counteract this radical shift in defensive philosophy, they've become a run-dominant team, but kinda by accident. Before Week 6, they didn't run the ball at all. They basically refused to. But after Week 6, they rushed for at least 175 yards in 7 consecutive games, which hadn't been done since the 1985 Bears. In that Week 6 matchup against the Buccaneers, they gave running back Miles Sanders just 1 carry in the first half, and at halftime, they found themselves getting shelled 28-7. But then after that game, they changed their entire identity, strategy, and philosophy, went from a 2-4 team to a 9-8 team, and rode their ground game all the way to a wildcard berth where they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The secret to the Eagles' run game bludgeoning defenses can be summed up into 3 different categories. They understand how to change the math in the box, how to create space for the ball carrier before contact, and how to use every single last concept possible to keep opponents off balance. Before we break down each of those 3 categories, I want to give a shout out to this week's sponsor, who is once again Bounty Sports. They are a daily fantasy sports platform that is incredibly fun, simple, and easy to use when you're making your picks. There are a ton of different sites out there, as you well know, but what separates them is how straightforward and non-threatening their app and website are. They create contests where you choose every game of the week straight up, no spread or anything, and if you win, you multiply your money big time. They have different size payouts depending on how much you put in. The entry fees are anywhere between $1 to $25, and my favorite contest has been the 1K NFL Pick'em, where you put in $4 and can win $1,000. I've turned several friends who are new to betting onto this platform because it's not overwhelming or has a bazillion different contests like some of the others. It's simple, it's fun, and straightforward. If you sign up with my promo code ALEX5, you'll receive a free $5 credit instantly, and you don't even need to put your credit card in. It's $5 on the house. Just go to their website or download the app and make sure to enter that ALEX5 code, and this weekend, you could win $1,000 risk-free. Thank you, Bounty Sports, and now let's hop into the lab. The Eagles splits before and after that Week 6 Bucs game are simply insane. Before that, they averaged just 22 rushes for 114 yards. Then after that, they averaged 38 for $185. As their head coach Nick Sirianni put it, once they became more confident in their quarterback Jalen Hurts' ability as a passer, that's when they felt like they could truly unlock everything in their ground attack. While they've become the 3rd most explosive running game in the league, they've also become the 7th most explosive passing game in the league. Basically, everything runs through Hurts. As their rushing attack took off, Hurts took off as well. Largely because of his development, this Eagles team feels like a chameleon that can shapeshift in a million different ways to run any kind of crazy scheme you can think of. Hurts has become some sort of half QB, half offensive weapon, Inspector Gadget type of mashup, and he's what makes everything go. He is the thing that creates maximum stress on the defense and can change the math up front to put the unit in the best possible situation, really at all times. The zone read is the first concept we'll take a look at, which is really just the tip of the iceberg, but a crucial component of the offense. When I say that Hurts changes the math, I'm referring to how he basically removes a defender in the run game. Here the Saints have 6 defenders in the box, and the Eagles have just 5 blockers, which doesn't count Hurts or Miles Sanders since they aren't blockers. Defenses always want to have an unblocked extra defender in the box to hit the ball carrier, and it's up to the offense to manipulate that defender, which is something the Eagles do in more ways than anybody. To gain back the numbers advantage, Hurts reads the edge defender, which means the Eagles don't block him at all. If the end goes up the field for Hurts, he'll give it to Sanders, or if the edge crashes inside, Hurts will keep it to run. The edge actually does a good job playing it in between. Hurts maybe should have given it to Sanders here, but now you can see how dynamic of a runner he is. He's literally just like another running back in the backfield. The Eagles can do that all day, and they can also run RPOs all day, which instead of reading an unblocked defender to determine where to run, RPOs read an unblocked defender to determine whether to run or pass. RPO stands for run pass option, and the Eagles lead the league in them. They help both their ground game and overall offense. An RPO is similar to the zone read in many ways. Both are run blocking plays, so here the line is blocking for the run, even if Hurts throws it, and both just completely ignore a defender, unless your name is Jalen Hurts. The Giants are playing zone with their corner way off Devontae Smith, and their safety closer and tighter to Greg Ward. The Eagles have a stick concept with Smith running this little short route, and Hurts is reading Tay Crowder to determine run or pass. If he falls back for the stick route, that'll give the Eagles the coveted numbers advantage in the run, and if he flies in for the run like he does, the stick route comes wide open. The threat of either the zone run or RPO coming at any time forces defenses to play less aggressively, which leads to Hurts having more time in the pocket and also opens up a ton of room for the Eagles running backs to operate. According to Sport Radar, they've rushed for 1,540 yards before contact, which is about 275 more than any other team. They're able to do that because of the depth of their scheme and also because of how quickly they make in-game adjustments. The Saints actually had some early success against him by using what's called the lag technique to blow up their zone and zone read style schemes. Instead of winning towards the play side, the D-line lags one gap backwards to knife into the backfield. Zone runs are effective when their double teams transition to the second level, but the lag tech can hold up those double teams so the linebackers can fly in. Thankfully, as we said before, the Eagles' offense, not just Hurts in the backs, but especially the offensive line, are chameleons that can run literally any concept. When they saw the Saints were lagging backside, they started dialing up pin and pull concepts, which not every team in the league can run without an athletic-ass offensive line. Pin and pull refers to the rules of the scheme. If you're covered up by a D lineman in front of you, you try and pin him inside, and if you're uncovered, you pull outside. The Saints said, "We're going to lag back inside to blow up your zone runs." So the Eagles said, "Alright, we'll pin you in there, then run around you." Dallas Goedert, Landon Dickerson, and Jack Driscoll pin the lineman inside, so the rest of the line can go and kick out the linebackers, safeties, and corners outside, and look how much space Sanders has. Nobody even touches him. The Saints' extra defender in the box, Demario Davis, doesn't flow play side because he's sitting for the threat of the RPO, which makes him a couple of steps late to join the party. Not everybody can run these crazy schemes, not just because they don't have the athleticism on the offensive line, but also because they don't have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts who can create that numbers advantage. Because of him, the Eagles can frequently leave a defender unblocked, which helps create way better angles for their O-line to better block everyone else in the box. All of these advantages have allowed him to run an extremely wide array of concepts, even ones more prevalent in the college ranks like counter bash. Counter refers to the multiple blockers pulling to the front side of the play. Here it's the left tackle and guard. And bash is wordplay for back, as in running back away, B-A, back away, which isn't normal. Usually he's running behind the pullers. Typically Hurts is taking the snap and reading the end to the same side as the back, but here it's to the other side. When that end stays put for Boston Scott, Hurts follows his pullers and squirts through for a nice chunk. Look at how clean these blocks are. The timing, the pacing, the sequencing, and the power. Those are all special qualities. You can see the Giants' plan was to rush two off the edge, one to crash for Scott and the other to sit for Hurts, which would get him a 2-on-2 matchup so Hurts can't read him. But by using counter bash, it makes the Eagles more unpredictable so you don't even know where to blitz him. They are masters at manipulating the extra man and also figuring out the perfect concept to call for every situation, what the defense is trying to do, and how to stop them. Setting up plays is what any good offense excels at, and the Eagles are great at keeping defenses off balance. You can see both ends are rushing upfield to force the ball towards the interior, instead of crashing inside and giving up the edge, which is, side note, good for the Eagles' run game and pass game if they're this hesitant. The Saints have dropped their safety Marcus Williams down a bit to help with the run, but now he doesn't know if Hurts is going to read the end to the right or to the left, so that keeps him on his heels and makes him just a half step too late to make the tackle. All of these wild, exotic schemes have helped the Eagles become one of the most explosive passing offenses in the league. There's still a ton of room for Hurts to improve as a passer, but everything the Eagles can do in the run game has forced defenses to become way more passive like we just saw, which has given him all the time in the world to throw. He's constantly operating with massive pockets, That's for sure also because of the skill of the O-line, but it's helped him develop since he can learn to get deeper into his progressions instead of breaking the pocket to run at the first sign of trouble, which he still does, but not as much. The Eagles' offense is a good lesson in learning what you have and then molding your scheme around it. Not everybody can do what they do thanks to all their skill and Jalen Hurts, but they didn't even know what they had until they were halfway through the season. They have so much speed and power, and when they can equal out the numbers in the box, they know that their hats are better than your hats. This is a team that's heading into a tough rematch against the Bucs in the wild card, but is a group I believe nobody wants to face. There's a reason that certain teams like them are shifting from the pass to the run, and that's to best attack the defense's weaknesses. They don't have one of those quarterbacks who can gun the ball deep to attack the deeper safeties, but they've found they don't need to. They turn their season around by playing to their strengths, flattening opponents on a weekly basis, whoever they are, and now they are rolling into the playoffs. Win or lose, I'll promise you this, they will beat you up.